Hello and welcome to Aquarium Dilemmas. I'm your host, Science Gal Aquatics. I'm Carrie, and this is my co-host,
Jesse, and welcome.
Welcome to this week's podcast episode, which is probably going to be really random, but hopefully interesting. But it's kind of, I don't know, being at the shows, I've always heard that there's so many more men in the hobby than women. And since I've been involved, and I wouldn't say tons, but a significant amount of fish keeping shows through the years of being on YouTube, I don't necessarily think it's always there's more men in the hobby. I think there's more men that's visible in the hobby because I see a lot of couples. I've had really random, just standing in a hallway conversation, and it's always been with a lady and about fish keeping, about fish and stuff. And they're always the best conversations and super random. And I think it's a pretty good mix now in the hobby. I do think there's a lot more guys doing YouTube, but I'm the one, I know if you've heard us through the years on any episode of anything,
any platform,
you pretty much know that I was the one that got Jesse into the hobby.
Well, and today will be 11 freaking years.
Yeah, today's
11 years I've had to do this.
Well, not the whole time, but we've been together today 11 years. It's our anniversary. So I thought it was a fitting episode to talk about. But again, if you've listened to me ramble over the years, you definitely know that I was the one that I had the tank growing up because of my dad, and then me and Jesse we were neighbors growing up. So we've known each other a long time, but we didn't get together and start dating until 11 years ago, even though we've known each other for a while. But he kept farm animals and my mom we could only have outside animals and an aquarium. So we had an aquarium, and that's what I had. And then when I went to college and started doing my guppy experiment for my research project, Jesse really didn't have a choice. And through the years, he's grown to, I don't know if he loves it yet, but he definitely loves certain aspects of this hobby and really enjoys it now. But the beginning stages, when it was all over our dining room, it wasn't love at first aquarium with Jesse, I would say.
It was a hodgepodge of menagerie that, you couldn't even, I don't even know if I could describe it properly, of the reckless abandonment that was all over our dining room. I don't even know how to explain what was going on. You had everything labeled, don't get me wrong. You were doing everything right for your project.
It was organized chaos around the outside wall of our dining room. So we had a big, it wasn't a large table, but it was a pretty good sized table in the middle. So we had a place to eat.
It was an 8-person table.
But the outside, he remodeled, I think it used to be a garage area or something before he moved in, and the owners before him, I think, remodeled it to a dining room. So it's a good size room, and it's perfect because it's a concrete floor. And that is currently where our 180 is located upstairs. It's like the one tank that's not in the fish room because it works so well up there. But I definitely took over because I had the stress tanks and the stress-free tanks, or the stress tanks and the stress-free tanks. I had the goldfish tank that came with me. And then I felt like we had a random 10-gallon from something else too, but I could be wrong. Maybe it definitely came in at some point. So I definitely took over, but it was not love at first fish keeping experience for Jesse. I just don't have any memories without keeping a fish tank. So we definitely came at it with different perspectives and experiences and all the things.
But I will admit, through a long, arduous journey, I did enjoy, because of always being a farm kid and always growing stuff, always growing a vegetable garden, always growing something. at least I was able to find that I loved the plant aspect of it. And if you put plants in a tank, in my mind, and it's only in my mind, doesn't have to be anybody else's, if you're doing low bioload fish, you don't have to do as much maintenance and you got cool plants.
Yeah, it just depends on your tank for sure. But he definitely, that's what got him. And we've said it from the rooftops a billion times that it was Primetime Aquatics Fish Room at the Chicago Aquashella in like probably 2019, 18, 19-ish when we went, that's when he was a little bit more okay with talking about it on the way home because we had a long car drive home. And he was like, I'm really into like how they put it together. I think that was the absolute first thing that got you interest was the hardware and how the tubing went and how they did all that. And it was I mean, if you're going to start at the top to show someone's fish room to be like, let me get my boyfriend into this hobby, Primetime Aquatics' fish room, whatever generation moderation it is in, it is one that it'll take care of. Just sit back. They have a nice couch down there. Just sit back and let their fish room do it for you. Cause that definitely, and the atmosphere, there was tons of really cool people there. They opened up their home to all of us crazy YouTubers back then. Cause it was like a group of 20 of us, probably 15, 20. It was a lot of us.
It was a huge group.
And it was just great conversation, great people, great things to, I mean, every tank is great. And that really got Jesse into the hobby. So if we're talking about kind of how to get, if you're wanting to get your significant other into the hobby,
find the aspect they like.
Yeah, you're going to have, and
I didn't know. It may not be the fish.
I didn't know that's what was going. So it was something I stumbled upon, but I will admit I took full advantage. So when I came home, I was like, he can mess with my filters and fix all them. And that's how I learned I didn't have to constantly buy things over and over again. And let me tell you, if your significant other is like Jesse in any aspect, a man probably, and you want him fall in love and stuff. Don't let me finish my thought because it's getting me tickled and I want to say it. If you can prove to him that by helping you out, look at how much money you're going to save. Because I don't have to go buy a $30 filter every 6 months, every 2 months, every 2 weeks, whenever it clogged. Because I didn't know you could take them apart. I didn't know at the time. And he was like, why are you throwing that away? Because he's a farm kid, so he tinkers and fixes. Like, I won't get anything new until I'm 56, let's be honest. And sometimes it's really nice, and sometimes I'm like, man, I just want a new refrigerator that has an ice machine. But going back to the point, if you want him, the big thing that helped me was I found something niche down in, like, I looked over. I would obviously try to get him to go to the fish store to be like, look at this cool fish. Like, this is awesome. But it took getting into the filters, into the airlines, into, watching videos on how to fix me up an axolotl chiller and all these like really things that I found exceedingly helpful because one, I don't know how to do it. Now I do. Now I completely know how, and it gets him frustrated when I come walking through. I was like, I got an idea and a drill. Leave me alone. But he's taught me enough to be dangerous, but he always fixes it too. So
no, the main point of it is find. I mean, it could be as simple as like scaping or substrate or whatever you don't know what your significant other might actually
you might have an idea. You might
really interested in.
You might have an idea, and that might give you a track to go down. But it might not be, I guess my point is it might not be so obvious as fish and fish keeping that gets your significant other into the hobby. It might be something like if you just want to keep a shrimp tank first and you just want to, you like the shrimp and that's it. It can be anything, but once that bug hits them, they get bit by that bug, then the window starts to open.
Well, then I want
and it can be really fun.
Well, and then I want to see where I can go with it, especially when it comes with the hardware and stuff, and then the plants. I want to see where I can take it.
Or building the stands. We haven't got to building tanks yet, but building the stands is always kind of fun. We always have at least one fight, and then he comes and be like, okay, your idea was fine.
Except for over the stand.
These stands, I left him alone. These, I just wanted it to have some kind of like finish on it because of water spots and wood and stuff. I wanted it to always kind of look kind of clean, and he did a great job. But you didn't know how to do it. No, I don't know how to do it.
And I figured it out.
But coming from not really, I wouldn't say you hated it, but not understanding it, not really
I didn't
wanting
hate
to
it.
keep it.
There's no hate.
You
I have
didn't.
no.
It wasn't something on your radar that you kept your pups outside and you had the chickens and the cows, and that was you can't hate something you weren't introduced to. It's just in the dining room you didn't enjoy that. But once you started coming along,
and we moved the fish out of the dining room.
Yeah. And he had this was a wrestling room in our basement, and then the other half was like an office area that he didn't honestly use anymore. No one came down in that spot. So we kept the wrestling room area because he was a wrestling coach for a really long time, especially when his oldest was growing up. He was a wrestler. So we kept that where we're podcasting right now. We kept that area for a long time, but I did take over that other chunk of the basement, and that was our fish room for a long time. And honestly, it was small. I hated bumping my elbows on things all the time, but I'm always going to look back on it fondly because we had a lot of fun kind of designing how to put all the tanks. We had a bunch of 20 longs back then. That was we had a few 55s mainly, but it was mainly 20 longs back then. And we didn't know if the racks were going to hold it because we had wired racks at the time. And we were like, I don't know, but I think it looks good. And just all the different things that really kind of bonded us when you were really first starting to come down in the fish room. I'd catch you kind of feeding and looking at things more so here and there than you ever did before, especially when we found out about live plants together. I mean, at that point I was keeping stuff in the house, bringing it in, but I had always just kept fake plants, and then for the guppy experiment for college, I had some guppy grass.
Well,
and then when we got into the club,
between going and seeing somebody else's fish room, and then introducing me to Massai, the Missouri Aquarium Society. So then that's where, and we have one of the best plant.
Oh my gosh! Everything about this club is awesome.
He can grow anything. Yes, he does CO2. He does all this wonderful stuff that's way out of my reach as far as knowledge and everything. But he gives good advice. He lets you know what you can and can't do, what you can and can't get by with.
And he has plans for everybody.
And he has the gamut of plants.
We always hit
everyone.
up his table, and sometimes we're like, are we going to do it? Because we know we shouldn't. And we do it anyway. There's another one coming up on the 9th here in a little bit. And I want to go.
But yeah, so that's kind of where that transitioned into. And because I loved the hardware aspect of it, I really wanted to lean into just growing something simple for me. Like growing lettuce and stuff as I did as a kid, and tomatoes and
Yeah, we've
corn
definitely.
and all the stuff I used to grow as a kid. We had humongous gardens. I was like, well, this is something I can have fun with. That's something a little bit different, and see if I can propagate more simple plants.
Yeah.
And I did.
And now it's kind of at the stage where I wouldn't say our whole life revolves around fish keeping and the hobby, but a significant part of our life does. And every time we go do something out together, minus eating, it's usually somehow related to fish keeping. And I think some of our best memories together has been in some facet around fish keeping now. And from the auctions, going to the Aquashellas, going to the Keystone Clash, we went to Hawaii together just to go look at fish. And I mean, we've done some pretty cool, some of the aquariums, the public aquariums we've gone together to go see, and we've just like walked around. We're like, oh my gosh, anything to do with sharks, I'm obsessed with. And it's not fish keeping related, but it's sharks. So, but I feel like now that you are so nose deep into the hobby, and it has been, I would say probably 9 years of really, of the 11 years you've been, I would say, a fish keeper. A lot of the things we do revolves around this and what we plan to do together outside of the house. Whether it's like, do you want to go somewhere tonight? Go on a date? Sure. Where do you want to go? I don't know, the hardware store and PetSmart.
Well, and even the trips and stuff, even if you go on trips and things, when you go and look at whatever, an aquarium, wherever it may be, even out just hiking, whatever, doesn't matter. My brain is repurposed to, can I do that in a glass box? Mm-hmm. Can I make that? Can I replicate it? Or can I get the materials to make that look like that? How can I duplicate it?
It's like the second thought. Can I use this on the house? And
can I put it
use
in an
this
aquarium?
In the fish room in some aspect? Like, how can I utilize this? Like, anywhere we go, I don't know how to put that in words. And maybe it does make sense. You're like, duh, I get the point. But the only thing we don't do that revolves around this now, I feel like, is when we go out to eat. But usually that's what we talk about because he got bit by the bug so hard. And on the flip side, it's not always a positive thing. Like, it is mostly positive. He doesn't tell me no as often when I need something. But we do get into our little bickering matches sometimes, like, because I feel like this is a hobby I really need for all of my anxieties that I have. It really calms me down. It's my time to myself. I like to recharge alone, and this is kind of my time. And I don't like to be told how to do things and when to do things when this is my tank. Go piddle in your tank, you know? And so it's not, I don't want to say like in this episode, it's always, oh my gosh, we're down here like slow dancing in the fish room. Like sometimes it's like, leave me alone and go upstairs. This is my time in the fish room. You can come down here when I need a filter fixed.
Well, that's where I mean,
we got to be honest. Like, I am so thankful because this would never be what it is. Let's be honest. If Jesse wasn't on board for me doing this and liking doing this, we would not be doing this. I'm not one that puts myself, I don't like to talk. My friendship circle is very small. And the fact that I've put out videos, have I done it recently like I should? Probably not, no. But the fact that we're still doing this, sometimes I beat myself up a lot about a lot of things, but sometimes I do have to take a step back and be like, look, you're still doing it in some aspect. And the fact that you're doing it, you've learned how to do it. Is it the most successful thing ever? No, but it's fun. It's something that me and Jesse can come down here. When would we ever take an hour out of our day, phones not in hand, and talk to each other? Like, this is really about And the fact that we make time to do this because it's important to both. If it wasn't equally important to both of us, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. And are we going to be late on weeks? Sure. We have a new grandbaby. We have a sick puppy. I like to travel and go out of town and spend Jesse's money. Like, we're going to be late on occasions. But,
wow, you're right on all three accounts. I tell you what, you're banging them out today.
Come on now, let's be honest. But the fact that we find it important, it's something we both enjoy, we love, that's what I find valuable. And I can't beat myself up. I have to be proud of myself in some aspect because I've met a lot of cool people that I wouldn't have met. And even that, I'm not one. I've been bit hard in years past by so-called friends. And Jesse's had a really positive experience with friends. Like, he's had friends forever, lifelong friends and I just don't have that experience. So for me to consider some of these fellow creators like friends, and it gets me outside of my own, it's okay to talk to people, not everybody in my head, everybody's like, no, they're busy now. So just everything in this hobby, I feel like has been beneficial to me and make me have that growth thing that they say you're supposed to have in as an adult, because I do get a lot of anxieties that I feel like
I don't know.
I gotta push through. And the fish keeping hobby, whether it's just coming down here and doing water changes and messaging my friends that I've met or hanging out with you, everything about it's been positive. And because you're
usually
in it,
kick me out of here until something's broke.
Well, when you're mouthy those days, yes.
But it's
just
good
overall,
for you to hang out here by yourself, do your chillax thing, just chill out, do your thing, feed, clean some plants, do a little picky.
There's plenty of days where you come down here too, like that last Aquashella trip, that you just did it. You know what needs to be done. You know how to do it. And the fact that I trust you. And I know in the beginning you had a lot of questions and it took us forever when we worked together. But at the same time, through the years, if you come down here and say, hey, I'm water changing your most precious prize tank, I wouldn't bat an eye anymore. And the fact that it took some airline and some filters to get you in it and, a visit to a really cool place. I'm really forever thankful for that we get to do this, but I don't think that, I don't know what I'm trying to say here. Give me a second. But going to the shows, I see a lot of couples. I see girls by themselves. I see men. I see teenagers. I see young kids. I see older people. I just see an even amount for the most part of everybody at these shows.
The diversity through the whole group is huge.
Yeah.
It's amazing, the diversity. Mm-hmm. I am glad that you drug me down the rabbit hole. And still to this day, I love the fish. I think the fish are cool. I really do. I enjoy all varieties and species of fish. Mm-hmm. However, it is not my driving passion.
Yeah. But it's a good idea. Like, if you have a show come to town that's not usually at your town, or something pops up and you're like, hey, maybe I want to take my better half to this and see something cool. Because there's a lot to see. There's fish and plants and reptiles and pond stuff and all kinds of things.
Well, that's what I meant by that. It's not my driving passion because there's so much.
There's just so much.
That you can get into. That it is a variety of things, that whether it be like me, that the hardware, but it could be the plants, it could be the outside stuff. Maybe you're really into the outdoor landscaping and that kind of stuff. It goes on forever. Yeah. And whatever, and luckily with me and you, it is the yin and the yang. Yeah. You love your fish. And you love to breed and look at and figure out and try new things and do different things. I'm not that. I'm the complete opposite of that, which is perfect for us.
Yeah. Well, it's just I see so many people at these shows, especially the little ones. Some of these little ones will come up. They don't know who I am. They don't know what booth I'm at, but they just want to show me their new beta. And they're so excited. And it's just everybody's so happy there. Everybody you talk to, it's always a random conversation in the hallway or at the booth that I'm hanging out. And everybody's so excited and happy. And I feel like if you're looking for something to try to get like your better have to go on a date, be like, hey, it's Saturday, let's go here. It's a good option because it did kind of lead. Granted, we were lucky enough to be invited on that tour, but we wouldn't have been invited if we weren't at the show. So it's just a really good atmosphere to bring your family or go on a date and look at something cool that
keep your mind open.
Keep your mind open. Maybe you might not get something that day, but it might spark an interest. It might spark a conversation. And it's not, I don't feel like it's just, for me, I don't know, because I have so many anxieties. It would take a little bit of convincing for me to go somewhere alone when I was younger. If I just thought, if I heard, because you do hear it, it's like men's a fish keeping hobby. But it's something that if you're contemplating going and maybe you don't have a significant other,
take a friend.
I go
take
there.
A friend.
Take
a friend.
Yeah, take a friend. But I go alone. I feel completely safe. And maybe it's an opportunity. You're just hanging out, at a booth and maybe a conversation sparks and you're like, hey, and then you meet a new friend too. So it's not so one-sided.
If you can't meet another friend at a fish show of any sort, I don't care if you're talking a swap, an auction, an aquashella, you just name it. Name it an event that is aquarium related. Yeah. And you can't find a friend, then you weren't there. You didn't show up to the show.
Yeah, because
you didn't even attend.
Everybody's so eager. And it's like excited. It's not like they're, sometimes you go to places and you're like, oh my God.
They're not pushy either. They just want to tell you about their experiences.
Yeah. And they want to hear about your fish too. Or whatever you keep.
And if you don't keep fish and you're just going for the experience, oh my goodness, the wealth of knowledge. If you're like, okay, I'm going to talk to this person for a little bit and they'll tell you a bunch of stuff. And you can move over and have a totally separate conversation about something totally different with another one. It is amazing.
Yeah.
The variety of conversations and things that you can learn as long as you have your mind just barely open.
Yeah, I've had conversations, literally, no joke, ranging from like the best breeding advice I've ever had, or like some unknown fact that I've never heard of, to like, hey, there's a fish tank in my book I'm reading. Oh my gosh, I'm reading that book too. There is a goldfish in there. Like, it's just random, but everything is kind of helpful.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I've had some of the best in-depth conversations at shows and auctions, just randomly.
Yeah, but
just at a guy in the hallway.
Yeah.
And I just came back from using the restroom.
Yeah.
And
bathroom talk is like good talk sometimes.
Well, came back and bumped into a guy and he was holding something. I was like, oh, what's that? Next thing you know, there went 35 minutes.
Yeah. But I don't know. This is kind of a random episode, but it's just something I've always heard of, and you constantly still hear it. It's a men dominated hobby, and it's going to the shows and traveling as much as I have here lately. I don't feel like that's true, but also kind of coupley things that there's a lot of coupley things you can do to get your significant other and even kiddos involved in the hobby. But sometimes it's not always positive. Sometimes there's some drawbacks when they tell you what to do.
Well,
so however you want to take this episode, it's just something that I felt like I wanted to talk about. So hopefully you can relate and you got something from it. If not, we'll see you next week.
Well, I'm going to say if she can drag a stubborn old redneck into the hobby and enjoy it for as long as I have, there must be something to this hobby.
Yeah. But wouldn't you say, just on the last note at the last show, you haven't been to as many as I have been here recently, but the few that you've gone to, what do you feel?
I've been to over 5.
Yeah, what do you feel like? You feel like it's still kind of men dominated, or do you feel like it's
No,
more of an
I feel
even
like
mix?
the women are really young ladies, however you want to say it, are coming in hot and heavy in all aspects, whether it be scaping, whether it be cichlids, axolotls. I mean, they're coming in from every angle, from people that I've met from vendors to people that are interested in it, just everywhere, all across the board.
I would say the only thing honestly kind of thinking, the only thing I feel like is still kind of men dominated is maybe some of the board members on our fish club. But in the audience, the attendees, the people going to the event, like bidding at the auctions, I feel like that is an even mix. Like the public events, the attendees are evenly mixed. Maybe not the committee members of more of your local club, but it might be dependent on where you live. I just feel like the attendees. So if you're single, go to a fish show. You might find someone.
Might find the love of your life.
And then you don't even have to worry about this episode because they already like the hobby. See, you're doing yourself a favor. If you're single, come to Aquashella.
You already checked a box.
I will come be my friend. We'll figure something out for you. We'll talk. We'll figure something out. Come find me in Dallas. We'll be friends, and me and Jesse will be like, so who do you think's single for them?
No,
but I just feel like it's starting to be a more even ratio. A lot of families are showing up. There's a lot of just really adorable kids. And the kids, I will always say, the kids know the fish. The kids know the animals more than the adults do. But
yeah, the kids sometimes can almost tell the adults more about the animal or the fish or whatever than the adults even know. They're like, well, I've seen that. And the kid will rattle off 3 or 4 facts, and the adult will you could see the eyes working, the brain working, and in their head going, well, how'd they figure that out? Well, smartphones, everything else now.
Yeah. But I just feel like it's really nice to see a lot of families and stuff in a more even mix of, there's a lot of really cool fishy events, fishy things to do that's family oriented and really fun. So it's nice to see. And I just feel like it's a stereotype that's not as true.
It's a stereotype that needs to be squashed is what it is.
It's just nice to see a really good even ratio, I guess, is after 33 minutes and 4 seconds is my point. And I'm glad Jesse lets me do this. So, but if you want something else to look at while you listen to this episode, go to sciencegalaquatics.com and check out the plushies. And if you are going to be at the Aquashella Dallas, I'm going to be able to bring some of the plushies there at the creator booth. So I'm excited about that. So if you want to come see them in person, come see me at Aquashella.
And tell Carrie, congratulations. She put up with me for 11 years.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see if Jesse's here next week, but I will definitely be here. So thanks for listening, and we'll be back
I'll be
soon.
here. Who's going to fix your filters?
Well, me now. I got a screwdriver now. Bye.
Bye.